We usually trust that the shampoo, deodorant, lotions, and cosmetics we use are safe. You might be surprised to hear of a gap that has allowed potentially toxic and untested products to stay on the shelf. Joce Sterman investigates.
And now we come to the thrilling final episode of our radio drama.
America in the 1930s. Radio was the main form of entertainment. An average house cost $4,100, and a gallon of gas was about 10 cents. In that decade, President Franklin Roosevelt broke new ground by signing the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetics Act. At the time, it would be used to combat questionable remedies like crazy water crystals, sleepy salts, and veneered chicken. But when it passed in 1938, the law was missing one key piece. It did not give the Food and Drug Administration the authority to police the consumer products that line the shelves of your bathroom and vanity. To this day, the agency says it still can't.
We use multiple products multiple times a day, and so you would think that they would potentially be among the most regulated, but it's just not the case.
Melanie Benish of the Environmental Working Group says there's no category of consumer products that are less regulated than the soaps, lotions, and makeup we use every day.
The FDA doesn't have registries of these companies and their products.
No.
They don't have the authority to do recalls.
No.
They don't have a systematic look at the ingredients and what their long-term effects are.
No.
They are supposed to be looking out for the health and safety of the American public. It's not happening.
Hairstylist Wynn Sisk got out of the business after realizing a straightening treatment she was using on customers was making her sick.
Our eyes were burning, our throat was burning.
But no warnings on the box, nothing that said it contains this harmful chemical?
Not at all.
Turns out it contained formaldehyde. The chemical, a noted irritant and possible carcinogen, is found in many hair straighteners. Despite investigations and hundreds of complaints, it still hasn't been banned by the FDA.
How in the world could you turn a blind eye to something that is so important?
And there are other examples that show the agency's lack of power when it comes to personal care products.
Deadly asbestos.
After our Providence station found asbestos in Claire's makeup marketed to kids in 2017, it took the FDA more than a year to confirm the hazard and issue a warning. Even then, it couldn't force a recall.
With a possible health risk involving one of the most trusted products, baby powder.
And while Johnson & Johnson has long said its baby powder is asbestos-free and safe to use, lawsuits have alleged a potential link between the product and ovarian cancer. In one case just last year, a cancer patient was awarded $300 million. Johnson & Johnson is still facing 16,000 additional cases. Still, the FDA has not issued or required a warning. The agency says it monitors the market for products that may pose a risk and is asking manufacturers to start providing information about how they ensure their products are safe. It says it can work with the Department of Justice to get products off shelves, but it doesn't happen often. Washington has long wanted a change. Bipartisan bills have repeatedly been introduced in both the House and Senate, with more recent versions designed to give the FDA the authority to do mandatory recalls, to force companies to turn over information about health problems reported about their products, and get the agency to review chemicals of concern 5 at a time every year.
We don't know what these ingredients are.
Senator Susan Collins of Maine was among the sponsors of a bill proposed last year that lawmakers hoped would more heavily regulate personal care products.
I'm always very hesitant to write new government regulations, but this is an area that really cries out for regulation because consumers cannot possibly make informed judgments on the myriad of chemicals that are in personal care products.
The existing framework that we use is in fact working. It is delivering safe products.
Jay Ansel is the Vice President of Science for the Personal Care Products Council, a trade association. He says the industry is not unregulated and says the vast majority of products are safe. Still, he says major industry players support modernizing the law.
Cosmetics are not regulated the same as food and drugs, but that hardly means they're unregulated. I think the industry can be proud of what it's done, but people want to see some of these voluntary initiatives become mandatory, and FDA, in the 21st century should have more tools.
So if these bills have bipartisan support, why haven't any of them passed?
Well, like many things, this comes down to money. If you want the FDA to investigate and to regulate, they're going to need people and resources. So some of these bills have included fees that all of these product makers would have to pay. Obviously, not everyone's a fan.
All right. Thanks, Joce.